so to start our sign, we're first going to start by uploading a SVG from Auntie Tay. So this is the SVG that I've downloaded, and all you need to do is once you're a member, you get all of these for free, and you can directly download them from this Dropbox that you'll have access to. So you just go to download, and I go to direct and download, and then it gets downloaded to your computer. So to upload, you just need to go to upload image, click browse, and it'll be wherever your stuff gets downloaded. So this one is right here, so I'll click open. So we can see our SVGs right here ready to go. Click save. So to insert it to your mat, all you need to do is click on the image that you want and click insert images, and it'll get put onto your mat. Super duper simple. So that's kind of the beauty of these SVGs that are already ready to go, is that basically that's all we need to do, all we need to do now is just size it. So for what I'm trying to do is I'm wanting to make a stencil, so I want to weld this whole image together. So you can see up here there's 3 different layers, but for a stencil we are going to want to weld them all together, and basically all that means is it's going to become one cohesive image that we can cut out of a stencil. So just highlight all of your text and click weld. And so it's going to change this all into one color, which is okay because we're just cutting it out of a stencil anyways. If you were just going to be cutting this out with vinyl, then you could just leave it as it was, because then it'll be cut out of the black and the orange, but this is fine how it is now. So the next step is to create a shape that we're going to actually cut these words out of to create the stencil. So I like to start with a square, and then I'll just kind of size it to however big this text is. So that actually fits pretty nicely. I don't think we need it so humongous, so I'll just make it a little bit smaller. So we're just going to place our text directly over the shape that we have for our stencil. And so basically this gray square is going to act as our stencil. We're going to cut these letters out of that shape. So I'll show you how we're going to do that. So you can see right now that this slice button is grayed out. So to slice this out of this gray square, we're just going to highlight both the square and the text, and you can see now that slice button is lit up. So now all we have to do is hit it, and then you just remove your layers, and we are left with a nice stencil. So now this will get cut out of the vinyl, so we can easily stick it on to our sign. So now we just really need to size this to whatever we want. So I think my sign is about like this big or so. Alright, so once we're all finished here, we'll save it just so we don't lose it. Happy Halloween stencil. And now we'll go to make it. So you can see our stencil is here, ready to go. We'll hit continue. So I'm going to cut this with my maker, and I'm going to use the stencil vinyl setting in Design Space. So I'll switch you guys over to the camera so you guys can see what we're doing. Alright, so to start this sign, this is an old sign I think I got when I I don't even know, maybe when I lived in my studio apartment, and we really don't have any use for it anymore. So I'm going to paint over this part of it. I'm going to leave the frame. The frame's actually pretty. I'm going to paint over it with some acrylic white paint, and then I'm going to put my stencil on and use this chalked up paint from Antite to finish it off. So just to, I mean, really just, I'm just going to paint over this. There's no like strategy. I'm just going to paint right over it. It was quite, I probably will need to do a couple of coats. It was real dusty, so I had to dust it off, but I'm just going to paint right over this. And I'm not using any painter's tape only because there is like a little separation right here, so, but if you want, of course, you can use painter's tape, probably be safer, but this is just for me, so I'm going to just see, I'm already getting paint up here. Probably should have put some painter's tape up here, but the nice thing with acrylic paint is it's really easy just to rinse off with just some warm water and like a paper towel or something, and it's pretty easy to get off. I've had to get it off my kitchen floor many times. And I love this October theme right now with Auntie Tay's channel. So fun. So this is just a base coat that I'm going to let dry, and then I'll do probably need another couple of coats to make sure it's really covered. So I'm going to let this dry for probably about 10-15 minutes or so. Then I'll come back and do another coat or two. Alright, so to cut out our stencil, I'm going to be using this blue stencil film. This came in one of the Auntie Tay mystery boxes. I can't remember which one, but she also just sells it just by itself, so you don't need the mystery pack for it. And I used to honestly hate the stencil film until I figured out how to really use it. So if it bubbles up like this, no worries, you can still use it, which is what I originally did not realize. So I'm actually going to be cutting this with the vinyl setting plus more pressure. So I'm not going to cut it with the stencil vinyl. I think I've done that before and it did not bear well for me. So we're just going to load our mat. And I have to pull my thing out a little bit because I don't have enough room on this table. So once this starts flashing, we can cut. So this is going to cut out our stencil, remember, and then we're going to put it onto our sign and paint over it. Okay, so to take this off the mat, I kind of just like to bend my mat. Just be careful not to snap it, but I don't want to just rip this or, really pull this vinyl off because it will just cause it to bubble even more. So where are my scissors? I guess I have to use these small ones for now. So I'm just going to cut out the space where my stencil is so I can get rid of this excess stencil film. Alright, so now that we have our stencil, we can just start to weed it. So this little guy here, I can get rid of. So now I'm going to be weeding out the insides of these letters. So again, we're just going to create a stencil. So we'll leave the negative space, so like the insides of the letters and stuff. It feels, I love fall and I'm like so excited, but it feels really weird to be making fall stuff when it is, where I live, it is so hot, so humid right now. And I live in Southern California, so like typically it is not humid at all. Well, yeah, I would say like 90% of the time it is like not humid. It's usually pretty dry, but oh my gosh, this week has been freaking ridiculous. So and like all the pumpkin spice lattes and stuff just came out, and I'm like, it feels like quite the opposite. Quite the opposite of fall or anything pumpkin spice. Oops, I need that inside of the O. Okay. So just continuing to weed this out. With the stencil film, sometimes like if there's like these little insides of the letters, you just need to be careful that it doesn't take it with the part that you're weeding. Sometimes it, because they're so small, sometimes it tends to do that. Okay, so we have our stencil ready to go. So let's see how our all right, let's see how the inside of our sign is doing. All right, so I finished painting this. I put about 3 coats of paint, and then I'm gonna go like scrub these edges, but paint is dry. I think 3 coats is fine. It kind of gives it like a nice little chalky look. So I'm going to be using this orange, and then I'm going to be also using this dark purple. These are both chalked up paints from Auntie Tay and the Creative Sister. So we have our stencil ready to go. So to apply the stencil, I'm going to move this out of the way. And I'm going to be using this masking transfer tape from Auntie Tay. This is my all-time favorite transfer tape. So easy to use. So I'm just going to start out by peeling off an end here and then kind of just peeling it as much as I need for the stencil. And so I'm just gonna, so I could have done this 2 ways. I could have cut off a piece, but I think this is working as well. So just so it doesn't bubble, I'm just gonna smooth it kind of as I go here. So I'll just cut it off. So we're done with that. And now I'm just gonna really smooth this on here as much as I can. Alright, so once it's all smoothed down, we can just peel off our stencil. And sometimes I think it's easier to kind of flip it and just peel off the carrier sheet, but like, look how easy this is peeling off, you guys. Like freaking butter. I love it. Alright, so I can move this here now. And so I'm just going to place this as center as I can. Alright, so I like to press the middle first, and then I'll scrape out towards the edges. So I'm just going to really scrape that down and then just peel. Make sure the corners are really down. And then just peel off the transfer tape. So this is why, even though Joe thinks I'm crazy for like saving all my signs, like, look, we can just upcycle this and make it look brand new again. So this is, all right, so I am going to do the Halloween in orange. I'm going to do this in this purple chalk paint, and then I'm going to do black chalk paint, or no, sorry, black acrylic paint for the bat. So I'm going to do this purple first. And all I have is these like gigantic sponge paintbrushes. But so first I like to do just like a light coat, because if you do light just multiple light coats, it's far less likely it's going to bleed through your stencil, which I know is kind of like the ultimate goal. And so I'm just kind of dabbing this. And then we can always go back and do another coat. So now we'll do this orange, or this is actually called tangerine. So I'm just gonna brush this on here. I've literally been crafting all day. I'm busting out all these October videos over the course of a couple days. So it really feels like fall in my house right now. All right, so this one light coat is good for right now for this. So I'm gonna just do another coat of this purple up here. And I'm gonna try not to smear these colors, but even if it gets a little blended, I personally don't care. I love fall so much. I can't freaking wait. Doing all these projects is making me so excited. All right, so now I'm gonna do another coat of this orange down here. And I like to peel it when it's wet, so I don't want it to dry too much in between coats because I want it to still be kind of wet when I peel it. And the reason is because if it's too dry, when you peel off your stencil, it's gonna crack or chip your paint. Oop, I got purple right there. All right, I'll let this dry for like a minute and then I'll go back and do one more coat. And remember, this is chalk paint, so it will look a little, it'll give that kind of weathered, chalky look. So I'm gonna just do a teeny bit of black so I can do the bat. And I really don't care if any purple gets in this because I think it'll look kind of cool. All right, and we'll do one more coat of orange. Do a little more black up here with our bat friend. All right, now the moment of truth. We are gonna peel this bad boy. So I'm just gonna start from one of my corners and just kind of gently peel away. That was not very gentle, but you know what I mean. And if something like rips or tears, don't worry, we can go back and get it. So now I just got to get these middles out. This is truthfully like the hardest part for me because this is, I just mentioned this on another video, but this is where I always screw up or like scratch the paint or smear it or like blend my colors or something. All right, so we have our super cute upcycled. All right, so we have our super cute upcycled Halloween sign. So cute and festive. Don't forget the paint, the stencil vinyl, all that good stuff you can get from Auntie Tay. And also, if you'd like to, use my code to get 10% off. The Craft Scraps all lowercase. It is an affiliate code, so no pressure to use it. And happy crafting and happy October.